am a former member of New York City Police Department. I used to supervise payroll, and I served 24 plus years with the department. And I never was co-signed on any type of brutality. I was always against it. I was always vocal about things, even with Amadou Diallo and so forth. And I lost friends in that agency just for me being vocal. But you have to stand for something. You have to stand for the rights of people. It's inhumane to see a man murdered in the street, not by a gun this time, but by a knee. But the same hypocritical people had an attitude, and they were angry with Colin Kaepernick when he took a knee for social justice, for the killings of black and brown by police brutality. But now you have an officer that set his knee in a man's throat, and he was begging, saying he couldn't breathe, and no one, 3 other officers, no one was able to tell this man stop. No one was able to kick this man, move this man, whatever, by any means necessary. And yes, there were civilians on the ground. And I always wonder, what if someone would have stepped up? What if someone would have just knocked the officer off or whatever? They would have probably been dead too. So police brutality, abuse of authority, it's not right. It's venomous. And the departments, every city agency, not just in New York and Minnesota, all over. This is happening all over. They have a right and a license to kill, and that is not right. They need to be held accountable. When you take a life, you have to pay the price. I'm Sandria Coleman. Thank you.
Fight, fight. Housing is a human right. Fight, 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 fight, fight. Housing. So we are out here today, the Justice Center in El Barrio, in partnership with the Holmes-Isaacs Coalition, because we're part of a national day of action today to cancel the rent. This was planned before the atrocious murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, so we changed our focus to highlight the fact that the reality is, unless they, oh, sorry, my face mask, okay, whatever. The fact is that unless the police stop murdering black and brown folks, there is no liberation, there is no canceling rents, there is no justice for people who are looking for quality housing. None of that can happen unless they stop murdering our black and brown people, especially black people in this country, across the country. And that's what the uprisings are about. They're about the fact that day after day after day in this country, people are murdered, black people are murdered with impunity. Cops are doing whatever they want in every single city. And there's no charges, and if there are charges, it's manslaughter, which means it could get like a few months, like what happened with Oscar Grant in Oakland. It could be a few months, it could be nothing, right? It could be a grand jury that then exonerates them of any justice. So we're not here for that. We want every single killer cop in this country to be punished with the fullest extent of the law. So we stand in solidarity with Minneapolis, with Louisville, with Georgia, with all the places in this country that have lost a loved one in their community, a black person in their community. We're also out here demanding that housing be a human right for everyone. In this pandemic, people will be facing evictions very, very soon. Cuomo did not put a blanket moratorium. People still have to pay rent, and New York is really, really expensive. And the people who are disproportionately affected by the virus are black and brown in this city. So the only way to bail out the people is to cancel rent, no debt accumulation, get rid of it, no bailouts for the landlords, it's for us, it's for the people. So that's why we're out here today. I just wanted to let you all know it's a solidarity action for George Floyd, and also to cancel all rent and mortgages in the city and in the country. So thank you.
Hi, greetings all. I'm Sandria Coleman. I am one of the co-founders of the Holmes-Isaacs Coalition, and I'm also a member of Community Board 8. I stand before you to ask and petition that the rent be canceled. city. It is hard for many residents to get by right now, even for those that are working. Prices are high. Everything is higher now, so it is difficult, and people are helping one another. People are sharing money, sharing food, and so forth. And it's a difficult time for this city and this nation. And in public housing, pre-COVID-19, we were living in deplorable conditions in NYCHA. Now it has become grave conditions. People are dying. Over 1,000, about 1,200 to be exact, and counting, have died due to COVID-19 conditions. So I stand before you asking, urging, and demanding that we receive rent cancellation. Also, I stand before you for justice for George Floyd, to watch an officer, someone that was allowed and given the opportunity to kill, a license to kill, is horrible, okay? We have to stand up. We stand up for him and the justices and those before him. Tamir Rice, Michael Brown, even if y'all remember Troy Davis when he was being executed well over a decade ago in Texas. And people, they found out, they had witnesses to vindicate him. They still put this man to death. And we're living in a system, in a society that black and brown bodies and lives do not matter. But I am glad that my comrades of all colors, of all races, of all genders, of all lifestyles have come together and come out today to fight for the rights of people. So we deserve to live in a society that's not about the 1%. It's a place for us all to live. These United States, it's false, because we are not united. And once we become united, then we can be called the United States of America. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lakeisha Taylor. I am the co-founder of the Holmes-Isaacs Coalition. I know you have heard it before. You are going to hear it again. Living in NYCHA is almost a death sentence. The federal government has disinvested in our lives. This pandemic was coming. The federal government knew, but they had no difference because they disinvested in our lives before. We live in deplorable conditions, and this only enhanced our conditions. We need to cancel the rent now. How are we going to pay it if we couldn't pay it before? As a mother raising 2 sons, I fear for my sons. I raise my sons to be respectable. But if a cop, who they are supposed to trust, can stand, kneel on a man's neck for 9 minutes, I stood here for 9 seconds and said nothing. He stood there for 9 minutes on someone's neck until he died. What am I supposed to think for my sons? How am I supposed to trust that my sons are going to be safe in this world? We have to stand in unity for our children's future. I fear for my son's future in the world. I fear for my son's future raising up in NYCHA. I say again, the federal government has disinvested in my life, and the government has disinvested in their future. I cannot trust the police to trust in my son to keep my children safe, and I cannot trust in the federal government to keep my life safe living in NYCHA. We need to stand together for all people, people of color. We need Caucasian people to stand up and stand next to us and say, this is not right. We need you to stand up and say this is not right. We are the minority, you are the majority. It is not until you stand up and you say this is wrong, because there needs to be a change coming. Stop looking at the riot and say it is wrong. Stand up with us and riot with us and say it is wrong. There needs to be a change, and it starts with you, because I see the change. I know it is wrong. I've lived the change. I want a different future for my sons. The federal government has disinvested in my life. It is time for you to make the change.
I came out here today because I heard about what happened to Floyd, and I do feel like there is a problem with our system. If it is okay to suffocate somebody who is already down, who is handcuffed until they are dead. And I would speak on my own personal experience. I too have suffered with police brutality, with the lack of knowledge of knowing when somebody had the right to take away my right to not be touched, to not be held, to not be sedated, over me speaking up for what I felt was right. As I spoke up and I advocated for myself, I was taken away in handcuffs by 4 police officers, and I was taped to a hospital bed, and then I was sedated. I was complying over and over again, complying, and they still sedated me, even after I gave them my name and after I gave them my information. I always carry my ID on me. When I hear sirens, I have fear, and I don't want that for my future or for my family. I have a little brother, I have a little sister, I have a whole family, and we all of the same color. And I'm not saying that all lives don't matter, but right now, my life feels endangered, and it's because of the color of my skin. And right now, I'm speaking up for the color of my skin, because I feel like if I don't speak up for the color of my skin, I will continue to walk in fear of the color of my skin. And I love my melanin, and I love my brown, and I love all colors. But right now, I need to speak up for what I feel I need to speak up for. And I also would like them to ban the chokehold and find another method in safely arresting people of all colors. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't really speak out, but I think today is just the day to do it. It's so welcoming to know that you have your brothers and your sisters and also those of non-POC standing firm with us today. It's just tiring. It's exhausting. It's a beautiful thing to be black, but it's tiring of knowing that you can't do anything because you're a person of color. It's sad of knowing that my mom has to worry if I'm going to make it home or make it back to my home or make it safely to any destination because it's just not safe for people of color. I've had my own situations with cops. I've had friends have their own situations with cops. Just last year, I was in a situation with 2 officers that escalated into a bigger situation. They accused me of stealing my own car on a double park. They had my license, my registration, and they still proceeded to come to my car aggressively with their hands on their gun and pull me out the car while I was on the phone with my mom. My mom had to come rushing over for me. When they came, they assumed that she was hostile. They called for backup. They pushed her, okay? And at that moment, it was not only a fear for me, but it's a fear for my mom because my mom is Hispanic. So even though I'm an Afro-Latino, I'm still a black woman at the end of the day. It's very saddening. I have little cousins that have to make sure that they're young black males. And I fear for them more than I fear for myself because we're at a rate of black men dying faster than black women when it comes to these situations. And we just need a better method than what the fuck we have going on right now. Like, I'm so sorry to curse, but it's just sad. And we just have to be more outraged than where we are right now. Like, all lives will not matter until Black Lives Matter, and the person holding that sign right now is making the most valid point as we speak. The gentleman before me, we have to find a better method than chokeholds and shooting. It's ridiculous because you don't have to shoot to kill. You can literally shoot to injure if you really feel that you're at that high of a risk. Lawyers need 7 years of school to defend us, and cops don't even need that much training. There's an issue right now. And there's nobody speaking on that bigger issue aside from people losing their lives. We cannot control the system until we control the people who are responsible for the system. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for coming.
I'd like to say something. Yeah, go ahead. Hi, excuse me. My name is Crypto. I would kindly like to ask her with the fuck the NYPD sign to come up here. Even though this is a peaceful protest, we have to remind the world that fuck the police, because first and foremost, they're out here. They're out in Minneapolis. They're out in Georgia. They're out here, right behind us. Mobilized to make sure that they protect these cop killers, these savages, these racists, these neo-Nazis hiding behind a badge. And we need to hold them accountable. It's about time that we stood up as a community, as all people of color, even our Caucasian brothers that are actually out here making sure that, you know, they stand up with us. We need to hold the police accountable. And today, even though this is a peaceful protest, we need to say FTP! FTP!
Fuck the police!
FTP!
Fuck the police!
FTP!
Fuck the police!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
Whose streets?
Our streets!
And that's all I gotta say. We out here in solidarity for George Floyd and all of our brothers that have been murdered. Thank you.
I just want to say something just real quick. I was just going about my business and excuse me. And I just want to just say something. I've never done anything like this before. I'm a professional black woman living in New York. I travel from New York to California. And I have to stand right here for my nephew, for my godsons, for my brothers and sisters, my black brothers and sisters. No, I don't have that experience, but I live it. I see it. I see it every day. And I cry and I pray, and something needs to be done. We've done a lot of demonstration. We've done a lot of picketing. We've done a lot of TV cameras. Now we have to think of another solution. I don't know what the solution is, but something has to be done. When we've now gotten to the point where another human being, because they have a badge, they will put their knee, Jesus Christ, they will put their knee on another human being and snuff the life out of another human being. People, are we not seeing that this is, there's no words? And I don't know what the solution is. I pray to my God because I believe in a true and a living God, but I don't know. But something has got to give, and I'm gonna lend my voice the first time ever in 32 years of being living in America, that I'm gonna lend my voice, that it will be on record that something has got to be done for my nephew, for my brothers, for the little youth that are running here scared, scared when they hear a siren, when they said stop. Something has got to be done. The laws, they're not working for us. I don't know what it is, so we need to come together as a community and just do something. I don't know what it is, but they said two heads are better than one, so whatever it is, I stand and I lend my voice this morning to the death, to the breath that has been snuffed out of our black community. Thank you.